Hello everyone, I am Dr. RMD, pediatric resident at Dr. RML Hospital, PGI, Delhi. So today I'll be discussing about most asked question in my previous video comment section, that is how to improve your GT scores. So I have considered this as a scientific approach to improve your GT score, because I have given you some scientific and logical based discussion, and I have approached this video very realistically how you can improve. And my main target was for the upcoming NEET 2024. So in 4 months, upcoming 4 months, how you could do this. This was based on my personal experience also, because I was in a similar situation where I had a few months of time, 4 to 5 months, to improve my GT scores, and I had done it successfully. That's why I'll be discussing mainly on how I did it 2 years back and how you can do this and achieve your dream rank. Okay. So the most asked question in my previous videos comment section was, my GT rank is low, my GT rank is coming in thousands, like 26,000, like 10,000. So how can I improve to less than 5,000 or less than 1,000? Okay, this was the most frequently asked. Along with that, my rank is stagnant, it is not improving since many months, so what should I do? And few of them asked like when to give GT and how to give GT. So we'll be touching upon these things today. So coming back to my NEET PG 2022, which I had given. Okay, the preparation actually which I give started in around August to September of 2021. So I had around 6 to 7 months to prepare for this, and I was in internship during that. So it's not like I used to have 10 to 14 hours to study. No, it was not like that. Okay, so my first GT that I gave seriously was in August of 2021. So in this GT you can see my percentile, because this is from Marrow. I gave Marrow, and I want to put a disclaimer that I am not supporting any coaching institutes, or I have not been funded by any coaching institutes. So based on whatever I had studied and my approach to this, that will I'll be discussing, because I used Marrow. That's why my most of the points will be towards giving Marrow GTs. And I also had conducted a survey recently on Telegram, like what GTs do people use the most, and most of the people had voted for Marrow only. Around 79% of them use Marrow GTs for their grand test preparation. So which mock test is actually the best? The one that is best is which is attempted by many people. So when there's many people, whatever the results that are published in those grand tests will be more authentic and more will be closely replicating the actual entrance exam results. Okay, I'm not talking about the quality of the mock test as such. I'm talking about the result that they produce after the mock test. So I started giving GTs in the month of August, and my initial percentile was 68 percentile. So Marrow has this representation of percentile the progress of GTs according to the percentile. So over the next 3 months, from August to December, my rank was gradually improving, because I had started studying and I knew what to study. I had prepared some strategies that using only these strategies I can actually improve my grand test scores in a very short amount of time. So that's where those strategies I'll be discussing in my upcoming slides. Okay, so after this I had a stagnant phase of around 1 to 2 months. So there was no much improvement in my rank. So it was the ranks were almost the same, or they had decreased, and then after that they slowly started to increase, and the final touch came during the NEET mock and the INI mock that I had given. So in that my ranks had actually been very well, and it increased up to 96%. So from 68 to 96 percentile, it took me over 6 to 7 months, but there were few months where I couldn't give grand test because of my hectic internship. So excluding that, for your current preparation you have 4 to 5 months right now, which is actually enough to improve your GT score from around 60th percentile to 95th percentile. It is not an impossible task, it can be achieved. Okay, this is the first thing that you have to keep. And the second thing is why I have given this title as a natural course of disease. That is because every GT performance will be following this graph only. If you see any topper's graph, anyone's graph, it will start with a low score, then there will be a stagnant phase, and then there will be a final increase, that is called the fine tuning phase. Okay, so I have divided this into 3 sections: the initial increase phase, and then the plateau phase, and then the final fine tuning phase. Okay, so next thing that many people asked me was that my GT rank is low. Some of them told my GT score is low, my GT score is not improved. Some of them said my percentile is not increased. Some of them are saying my number of correct responses are not decreasing. So whenever you assess a grand test, okay, assess your performance in grand test, there are few variables. It can be either a rank, it can be either GT score, it can be percentile, or it can be number of correct responses. So out of these 4, which is the best one? Believe me, the best one is GT correct responses. I'll say you why. See, these are the 3 grand tests that I had taken along my journey. This was my first grand test, okay? And see, the rank in that was 7,400. This was somewhere in between, okay, in the month of January. So rank is 653. So you will be like, from 7,000 I had improved to 653 in a span of like 3 months. It is really great. But then I was actually improving. I was also studying. It was not like I had left studying because I had got a good rank. But then NEET mock, my rank was 5,700. So like you will be like, okay, then NEET rank has decreased. So this means that, but my study preparation was consistent. Then, but my rank had decreased. That means that GT rank is not a good predictor of your GT progress. This is a take-home message. GT rank is not a correct predictor of your GT progress. Then some of them will say percentile is a good progressor. Percentile is a good variable to represent your GT progress. But then you see a 68 percentile. Here it is 95, but then again it dropped to 92. So it is also not a good progress marker. Okay. Then you see some of them will say the score is a good progress. Actually, score is a good progressor, but then score doesn't take into account how many you have got correct and how many you have skipped. Okay, this is a very important thing. See, whenever you attempt a NEET exam, this MCQ based exam, only the correct responses is what matters. Correct responses give you +4. If you don't respond, if you skip, then you'll get not 0, you'll get -4. If you actually attempt anything wrong, then it is -5. Always consider your approach like this. Only correct responses matter. That's why you see the correct response. Here it was 108, here it is 124, here it is 155. What does that mean? From here to here, the progress was slightly okay, but then the number of correct answers that I got here, see here there is increase of only 15 correct answers, but here there is increase of 22 correct answers, which means the phase from this second phase to third phase was the toughest phase than from first phase to second phase. Getting my point? Your ranks don't describe that, your percentile doesn't describe that, your total score doesn't describe that, your correct responses describe everything. So the solution to the first problem is that your GT ranks don't matter, your GT correct responses matter. So always focus on your GT correct responses. There can be minor variations up to ±10, but then still it shouldn't go out of this range. If this goes out of this range, then you have to re-strategize your strategies. Got my point? So always think about GT scores. So whenever you're thinking about GT, improving in your GT, so first you should know what is the algorithm behind GT. See, all these GTs which are there currently, they are based on mock test algorithm designed by the computers. Okay, so this is a computer algorithm. So this computer algorithm will select the questions based on the pattern it is given by the exam setter. Okay, so a coaching institute decides to conduct a mock test, so it will give some feeds on the computer so that it generates an algorithm which will select the questions from a pool of questions. So by this virtue, for any mock test, around 75 to 80% of the questions will already be in that coaching app or coaching your notes or your videos. That thing will also be there or in the question bank. So 75 to 80% are not new questions, around 20% are new questions. Got my point? So these 20% are the questions which are not there in your question bank or previous GTs or maybe in previous year question. So this 20% is the game changer for toppers, but not for common people like us. For common people, for common average student, this 75 to 80% still matters. So this GT creator app or the algorithm, it will start selecting questions based on the question paper pattern. Okay, so there will be easy question, there will be moderate questions, and there will be hard questions. So each easy, moderate or hard question percentage will be given, and this percentage will be taken from the Q bank question bank pool. Okay, what does this mean? What am I trying to convey? I'm trying to convey that whatever the questions which are asked in GT are actually in your question bank itself. There's nothing new. 20% are new, that is also slightly modified only. No coaching institute will go to the extent that it will frame new questions for every mock test. But on the contrary, when NBEMS, when it prepares your NEET PG question paper, it doesn't go according to this logic. It goes according to the examiner's logic. So now examiner, when he sets the question paper, he'll have different set of questions, which may be previous year question or maybe new questions. So that's why those who give GTs regularly will think that they are getting good ranks. So that same result will replicate in your NEET PG final exam also, but it won't. Okay, so there is a slight difference between GTs and actual exams. So that's why GT should be taken as a preparation or as a mock for NEET, and not an actual replication of your marks of NEET. Okay, so GT is just a step to practice for the upcoming NEET. So based on all this, how GTs are set, and based on how to approach these GTs, now we'll go how to strategize your strategies. Okay, so I said to you that all the questions from the for the GTs are from the videos or question bank or notes. See this. So these are exam question, maybe for GT or for NEET PG. So everything will be either from notes or it will be from Pearls, Treasures, pre-IQs. And you see this graph. This was previously described in my previous video. So I have given the link in this video description. So you can go back and watch that video also. So there we had extensively discussed about how these exam questions are set. So in this we'll see that previous year questions and previous GTs will constitute very good part of whatever upcoming GT is going to happen. That means if you want to improve your GT in a limited amount of time, you want to increase your rank, that is a wrong term. If you want to increase your GT correct responses, that means you have to go back to your previous year questions. First, go back to your previous year questions, read everything what is there given in previous year question, then you attempt a GT, then you will see there will definitely be an increase in your GT correct responses, because the same questions repeat. So this is very simple. It's like in your high school or in your primary school, when your teacher used to tell this chapter will come for exam, and you already know which are the important questions that are going to come, right? So these important questions are nothing but previous year questions and the GT questions only. That's why analyzing GT is very important. So that's why reviewing GT is very important, because unless you review GT, you don't know what was asked in the previous GT, and that same question, if it comes again and you commit mistake again, then that is a blunder. So don't commit this mistake again. Reviewing GT is the most important thing. Reviewing previous GTs which you have given, analyzing it, that is the most important thing. Then comes the pulse. See, whenever you are reviewing, you don't have time to go to your question bank and then learn each and every question again, and then you come back and then you give new GT. You don't have that much time. That means that whenever you are giving GT, that pulse will be there now. Bookmark those pulse. Bookmark or star mark. If the same question is repeated 2 or more times in a GT, then you have to star mark that pearl. Okay, this is very important, because these pearls will keep on repeating again and again. Okay, so if you do properly, if you revise properly these pearls and then previous year questions and GTs, then around 60% of your GT syllabus is complete. See, out of this 75 to 80% which are coming, out of that 60% is complete. Okay, anyway 20% is new, then rest what is pending is around 20%. Okay, for that 20% where your luck comes and your excluding the options comes. And now a few people will be like, this part which is not shaded, that is actually, isn't it that important? So you'll be like, there will be FOMO, like you have left this part, so that means you are going to get less marks. No, if you leave this pearls and GT's previous year question type, if you leave that, if you commit mistake in that, then that is a big mistake. Okay, because these things you will get to know when you read those explanation of those GTs when you are reviewing GT. So when you read those explanation, you will be getting some idea, so that is which is enough for you to exclude 2 options. Okay, coming to the second strategy. See, you have total 19 subjects. So first thing is you give GT today, and then you analyze which subjects are poor. So this is a very beautiful spider graph. Okay, this is called a spider graph. This is given after every marrow GT. So this was my spider graph. This was my first GT, and this was my last GT. So here you will notice that how things have changed. See, subjects like anatomy, OBJ. Okay, so this is actually my graph. Okay, this is the reference for toppers. Okay, anatomy, OBG. Okay, even pediatrics, then ENT, then pathology, biochemistry. All these were weak subjects, and I had improved in these subjects. Okay, and then you see how I had improved in anatomy, how I improved in OBJ. So now your next question to me will be like, how did I improve actually? Like, how did I, like here I had got almost 0 correct in anatomy. How did I improve it to 100% correct in anatomy? Okay, so I made this data sheet, Excel sheet. Okay, I divided these subjects, all 19 subjects, into 3 categories. One was rank building, rank maintaining, and rank deciding. Rank building were the subjects from which around 50% of the questions will come. These are the most important subjects, and these are not the ones which are not impossible to learn. Like, it is not like medicine where you have so much to learn, so many questions can be asked. It is not like that. It's like if you read it properly, you'll get the answers correctly. and the weightage is also more for these subjects. So these are mainly the high efficiency subjects. Okay, so these rank building subjects like first year, second year subjects, third year subject, and pediatrics, these will fetch you the most marks in a GT, and it will not take much time also. So these are the high efficiency subjects. Next are the rank maintaining subjects, which are very vast, and even if you read everything also, then also you will not get all correct. Okay, and last are the rank deciding subjects. These are the very short subject which takes very less time, very few questions come, and you should get very high scoring in these subjects. But these are not the rank building, because these are only for those fine tuning. Means if you have got a rank of within 5,000, then to get a rank of within 1,000, what can you do? So these are the rank deciding subjects where this is for fine tuning. Okay, so I made condition formatting in Excel such that in rank building subjects I should get above 75% to be in this green zone. In rank maintaining it was 70%, and here it was more than 80%. So then I plotted my progress. So you can note that, like for subjects like here PSM, initially I was at 42, which was very red zone, like I should get at least 70. So then I focused, as you can see, even after 2-3 GTs it was not improving much. So by 2-3 GTs I had done, I realized that okay, PSM is one subject where I need to improve, because rest all subjects I had improved by that time. There were only 2 or 3 subjects which were actually pending. So then I had to focus, and then you see my PSM graph improved. So I had not done many changes. I noticed that in PSM previous year questions and in previous GTs, many questions used to come from biostatistics, and many questions were repeat also. In PSM, almost 50% was such that with just proper guessing, I can actually mark the correct answer. Okay, and with only reading few concepts from the question bank and from the videos, I could actually I didn't have the time to read whole PSM subject, so I only went to those specific points which were asked in previous question, GT, Pearl, and when I was reviewing GTs. Okay, so when in all this I only got hold of those 20% of the topics out of entire 100% of PSM, which were actually very important, and those studying those in a little depth, I could be able to solve many questions. Okay, like if 20 questions are asked from PSM, I could solve around 13 questions just by knowing this 20% of the topics. Okay, so I prepared very efficiently for PSM, and I got this 76% from this 42 to 25%. Okay, similar was the case with ortho also, and even with psychiatry. I started with 16%, and you can note this psychiatry from 16 to 60%. There was no change at all. I just went through previous year questions in psychiatry. I realized that when I was solving 2017 paper, 2018. I realized that for solving 2019 paper, I didn't have to read anything extra. What was asked in 2017 and 18, same repeated in 2019 also, and same again repeated in 2020. So that means in 2022-23 also almost same thing only will repeat. So when I was giving GT, I realized that all upcoming GTs had similar type of questions only. I didn't have to study everything. I had to just fine tune small things there, here and there. Okay, this is how you go in a smart way, in a proper strategy. Your strategy should be in a such a way that you should try to think of increasing your correct responses every time you attempt a new GT. Okay, so this was one more strategy that I used. Say, like if you have attempted this GT and you're going for next GT, this GT will have some important questions, right, which will be asked for next GT. So you will be bookmarking that pearls, or you'll be star marking that pearls. But when you give next GT, will you actually read those pearls just before giving GT? I guess most of them won't. But I realized that when you actually revise previous GT's pearls or previous GT's star marked questions or something, or previous maybe 4 or 5 GTs, it won't take much time. Okay, as such, reading all the pearls will take so much time. But bookmarked or star marked specific GT pearls only, which was asked previously, will take very less time. It will take hardly 2 or 3 hours, and doing this just before giving the GT can actually boost your marks by 10 or 12 correct responses. Okay, and this is a huge shift. See, those people who ask me, like, why my rank is stagnant? Your rank is stagnant because you're not thinking about the next GT's correct responses. If you're thinking about where you can improve in the next GT by revising previous GT's bookmarked or star marked pearls, then you can definitely increase your rank compared to the previous rank. Okay, so that's where these small minor changes will be there. Okay, that's where you come out of stagnation phase. That's where you realize that if you see back whatever has happened, if you revise that again, then your marks will definitely increase. Okay, one more trick is this memory trick. Okay, so this was my first GT, where out of 25 out of 51 guesses, I made 25 correct guesses. Okay, and here I had to guess less because I knew many correct answers with confidence. So out of 22 answers, I got 15 correct. So here my guess percentage was 50% around, and here it went up to 75%. So your guessing power also will be good as you start preparing, because you'll be initially you will be like, you will be guessing out of 3 options, any one option will be correct. But as you start preparing, as you go ahead with the previous year questions, as you go ahead with your GTs, as you go ahead with your specific points from notes and question bank, and then you start revising all those things, you are in a position to get a better guessing power than your previous thing. Okay, so that's why you have to give GTs regularly, 2 or 3 GTs in a month. So next is GT partner, which is very, very, very important. See, my first 2-3 GTs I had reviewed without GT partner. Then I realized that I need a GT partner. First thing is because it's difficult to revise alone. Okay, sitting alone and then revising whole thing is a boring task. Second, you will have multiple inputs. See, you might have done that answer correct, but then the second partner would have your partner would have marked it wrong. So then you will be discussing why she has marked it wrong or why he has marked it wrong. Okay, so this will be like there will be an interaction, that, and there will be input. There will be a lot of input based on this. If you have more GT partners, also it's good. 3-4 people sitting together and then discussing, this collective input is going to matter a lot. Okay, and that person will also have some other input, like where it was given that this was the answer was correct, and like what are the extra things, like they might have read this some other important information from other source. So all this will come together, and this you will not be forgetting whatever you discuss. Okay, so always go ahead with the GT partner, and you try to review the GT with 2 or 3 days. 2 or 3 days are enough to review a GT, and try to review the whole GT. Okay, next, last is question approach style. So this was thing which I realized at last, just before giving my entrance exam. So what I did for my final entrance exam for my NEET PG was, I always started from question number 50. Okay, question number 50 to 200, then I used to come from 1 to 50. Okay, so time management is very important. As I already said, time is the one thing that matters the most. So when I used to come from 50 to 200 and then like this, I used to attempt fill in the blanks type of questions first, which are straightforward. These are memory based. You don't have to think. You have to just mark those questions and then go ahead. So suppose this 50th question was a memory based question, like it was a straightforward question. I would attempt this. 51st question, next question was like a big question, like analysis type of question. Then I used to skip this. 52 is also analysis question, skip this. Then 53 is fill in the blanks type of question, that is memory based. I used to tick this. So I used to go in this approach, so that these memory based questions, which are 1 mark, those are actually the mark fetching questions, because you don't have to think anything. You know the answer is correct, you're saving a lot of time, and then you can move ahead with the next question also. Okay, but these analysis type of questions require some time. So what happens if you go in a row, like if you go from 50 to 200, like you're not doing this separation, then what happens is 50th question will be memory. Okay, you tick that question, you will go to the next question. Next question is an analysis question. It will take your brain to think. Okay, so it will take around 1 to 2 minutes to solve that question. Then you're going to the next question, which is a memory. So now brain is at in an analysis mode. Now it has come back to this memory mode. So then again you have to go back to analysis mode. So this will be a roller coaster jump for the brain, which will be very uncomfortable, and you will be losing a lot of time. That's why always go with one direct straightforward questions first, then go with the analysis type questions. This will save your time, and this will be comfortable for your brain also to think. And one more thing which I used to do, if in a row I don't get 2 or at least 2 or 3 answers I don't know. For example, I'm attempting question number 62. 62 I don't know. 63 also I don't know. 64 also I don't know. I used to leave 10 questions in the row. I used to go at next 75th question, because sometimes so happens that these tough questions will be clubbed up together. Okay, so that will decrease your confidence if you don't get many correct answers in a row, or sometimes one whole section will be like that. So I used to skip 10 questions or sometimes 20 questions and then attempt it later on. Okay, so it's not like you have to go systematically. You have to go so that your brain's thinking process will be in an optimal level. Okay, so finally coming to this thing, the summary of this, how does GT rank improve? The first thing is reviewing GT Reviewing GT is the most important thing. I'll be conducting a new video in the next session on how to review a GT. How to review a GT is a very big thing. How to analyze your GT, I have explained in this video. How to improve your rank in GT also, or how to improve your score in GT also, I have explained in this video. How to review GT. How to review GT, I'll explain it in the next video because it will take so much time behind that. And then you have to revise previous year questions, and you have to revise previous GTs also. You have to revise previous pearls also which are asked. Unless you revise and apply it to this GT, your rank is not going to improve. It will be stagnant only. And third thing is re-strategize. After you know that after 2 or 3 GTs that your score is not improving in a subject, then that means that you have to change your strategy. Just like I did with PSM, my after 2-3 GTs it was not improving, so I had to go back and change my strategy for PSM, so that ultimately I got a good score. Okay, so GT score is not a rocket science. It is straightforward logical basis which you have to apply for increasing your score. Just imagine you are in your school and then you are attempting for a unit test, and then you know already which are the questions which will be asked, and then you are going to increase your marks like that. Okay, so there is nothing nothing to stress about it. GTs are not like NEET PG. NEET PG will be easy. So even though my marks in my final NEET mock test was around 585, my NEET marks was 610. So your best performance will always be your entrance exam performance only. Okay, GTs are the hardest part. Entrance exam will usually be easier than your GTs. Okay, so all the best. Thank you.